which is the land of Canaan, which we're going to find out later on is the land of Jerusalem or Israel. We at Joshua 14:1. Go ahead and read.
And these are the countries which the children of Israel inherit in the land of Canaan.
See, these are the countries which the children of Israel inherit in the land of Canaan. Go ahead and read.
Eleazar, the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel distribute for inheritance to them.
Go ahead.
By lot was their inheritance, as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses, for the 9 tribes and for the half tribe.
Because he gave the other 2 tribes and a half on the other side of Jordan. They wanted to stay on the west side of Jordan. They was like, well, let us stay over here because the land is fertile and everything, and we can feed our cattle over here. So Moses was like, okay, 2.5 tribes, y'all stay over there then. The other 9 tribes, y'all going on the other side of Jordan and dwell in the land of Canaan. But go ahead and read though.
For Moses has given the inheritance of 2 tribes and a half tribe on the other side Jordan.
Go ahead.
But unto the Levites he gave none inheritance among them. For the children of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. Therefore they gave no part unto the Levites in the land, save cities to dwell in, with their suburbs.
With their suburbs,
for their cattle and for their substance.
For their cattle and for their substance,
As the Lord commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did, and they divided the land.
And they divided the land, this land of Canaan. Now let's go to Proverbs the 16th chapter, because I want to show you something right here. Because the book talks about them dividing the land, but let's see who actually divided the land though. Proverbs 16 and 33, Proverbs 16 and 33. Let's see who actually divided the land. Proverbs 16 and 33. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
The lot is to cast into the lamp.
The lot is cast into the lap,
But the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord.
But the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. Because they dispersed the land by lot, didn't they? But the disposing of there was of the Lord. He is the one who gave them the land. And when they cast the lot fell on Judah. The lot fell on Manasseh and Ephraim. Y'all still here. But the Lord is the one who was doing all the regulating now. He's the one who was doing it. Let's go to Matthew the 1st chapter. Matthew the 1st chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 17. Matthew 1 and 17. And we're going to get down to the times of David. Matthew 1 and 17. Go ahead and read it.
So all the generation from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David unto the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations.
Go ahead.
And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations.
Now, so we're going to pick up the generation of David. We're going to pick up the generation of David. So let's go to 2 Samuel, the 5th chapter. 2 Samuel 5. 2 Samuel, the 5th chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 3. 2 Samuel 5 and 3. 2 Samuel 5 and 3. Go ahead and read it.
So all the elders of Israel came to the king of Hebron, and King David made a league with them in Hebron.
Now wait a minute. Now Hebron, isn't that the land where Abraham settled in? The land of Hebron. And so the elders of Israel came to the king of Hebron, and King David made a league with them in Hebron. Go ahead.
Before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel.
And they anointed David king over Israel. Keep reading.
David was 30 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 40 years.
Go ahead.
In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, And in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah.
Now, so David reigned in Hebron 7 years and a half, 7.5 years. But in Jerusalem, he reigned what? 33 years over all of Israel. That's a long time, man. So he reigned 40 years. But he reigned 33 years in Jerusalem. Let's go now. Let's go to Genesis, the 14th chapter. We're going to come back to David reign in a minute. Let's go and show you whose city this really is. Let's go to Genesis, the 14th chapter. Let's show you whose city this really is. Genesis, the 14th chapter. Genesis 14. And we're going to pick it up at verse 17. Genesis 14 and 17. Let's show you whose city this really is. We're at Genesis 14 and 17. Go ahead and read it.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shebeth, which is the kings there.
Go ahead.
And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine.
Now he meeting Abraham, right? And he said, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine.
And he was the priest of the Most High God.
Wait a minute. You mean there was a priesthood before the Leviticus priesthood? That's right. There was a priesthood before Leviticus priesthood. He said, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was a priest of the Most High God. Now we're going to find out who this is. Go ahead and read.
And he blessed him, and said, blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Now,
let's find out who this is. Let's go to Hebrews, the 7th chapter. Hebrews 7. Hebrews 7, and we're going to pick up at verse 1. Hebrews 7 and 1. Let's find out who this Melchizedek is. King of Salem. Priest of the Most High God. Hebrews 7, and we're going to pick up at verse 1. See, a lot of people don't understand. You know, there was a priesthood before Leviticus priesthood. And there's a priesthood now, after the order of Melchizedek. That's what priesthood we are under now. Hebrews 7 and 1. Because I asked the guy one time, he kept talking about he was a prophet. I said, well, what priesthood you under? He didn't even know what priesthood he was under. I was like, you ain't no priest of the Lord then. So the Lord always had a priesthood. Always. We at Hebrews 7, and we're going to pick it up in verse 1. Hebrews 7 and 1. Go ahead and read. Let's find out who this Melchizedek is, king of Salem. Go ahead and read.
For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him.
Go ahead.
To whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all. First being by interpretation king of the righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace.
Which is king of peace. Verse 3, go ahead.
Without father, without mother, without descent,
go ahead.
Neither beginning of days, nor end of life.
Go ahead.
But made like unto the Son of God, findeth a priest continually.
Now, who is this Melchizedek then? That is Jesus. It said, look, verse 3. Because you know, I was talking to some brothers last Sabbath about this. You know what I'm saying? So, Melchizedek, that ain't no Jesus. And the brother going around, the other brother going around, the Hebrew brother going around and around about with him. I said, man, why don't you just read them Hebrews, the 7th chapter. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, abideth priest continually. Who was this that was made like unto the Son of God? Melchizedek. So then, who was Melchizedek? Melchizedek, that was Jehovah, right? And he was the priest of the Most High God, Melchizedek. But he came down as who though? Jesus. It just told us. It just told us, didn't it? He was the priest of the Most High God, and he is the king of Salem. Now, we got to find out this Salem. What is this Salem? Let's go to, we're going to look up the definition of Salem real quick. We go on the Urban's Bible Dictionary, and we're going to read the definition for Salem. Where's Salem?
Salem. Safe, whole, peaceful. The domain of King Melchizedek. Later identified with Jerusalem.
Later identified with what?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. So Salem is Jerusalem. Which Melchizedek, he was the high priest of it. Or the king of it, rather. So he said this Salem is identified as Jerusalem. Well, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Let's go now. Let's go to Psalm 76. Psalm 76. I ain't gonna hold you long today. Let's go to Psalm 76. Psalm 76, and we're gonna pick up in verse 1. Psalm 76 and 1. Psalm 76 and 1. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
In Judah is God known. His name is great in Israel.
Go ahead.
In Salem also is his tabernacle.
Read that again. Read that again.
In Judah is God known. His name is great in Israel.
Go ahead.
In Salem.
In Salem
also is his tabernacle.
Wait a minute. In Salem also is his tabernacle, and his dwelling place is where?
In Zion.
In Zion. Where is Zion then?
Jerusalem.
That's Jerusalem. And Jerusalem was once known as what? Salem. Just follow along for a minute. I ain't going to hold y'all long. Just follow along with me for a minute. So this Salem, which is Jerusalem, is called what? Zion. And this is God's dwelling place. Let's go to Psalms 122. Psalm 122. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Psalm 122 and 1. Psalm 122 and 1. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is built as a city that is compact together.
Jerusalem is built as a city that is compact together.
Whether the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Israel.
Now, if you go look at the old map of Jerusalem, you'll see the city is compact together. Building right here, building right next to it, building right here, building right. The whole city is compact together. Just like the Bible says, it said Jerusalem is a building as a city that is compact together. Verse 4, read it.
Whether the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of the Lord.
Go ahead.
For there are set thrones of judgment.
For there are set thrones of judgment. Look at where the judgment coming from. Go ahead and read.
The thrones of the house of David.
Of the house of David. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Set thrones of judgment. Let's go now. Let's go to Daniel. First, before we go to Daniel, let's just pick this up. We're going to read the definition of Zion since we read it. Let's read the definition of Zion.
Zion. Zion or Sion.
Because sometimes you see Zion in the book as well. And it's talking about the same place. Go ahead.
In its literal and restricted sense was the celebrated mount in Jerusalem. The highest and
the celebrated mount in where?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. Go ahead.
The highest and southernmost of westernmost of the city.
That's it. So now, where is Zion there? That's Jerusalem. Everybody understand? Stay with me. Stay with me. I ain't gonna hold y'all long. Zion is Jerusalem, right? Let's go to Daniel now. Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Daniel 2. Daniel 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Daniel 2 and 1. Over here where Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. And look at what Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar. Say, this stone smote the image on the foot and filled the entire earth. Not heaven, but the earth. We had Daniel 2, and we're going to pick up at verse 1. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to all the magicians and the astrologers, and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans to show the king his dreams.
Go ahead.
So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Stridach, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. Now,
so Nebuchadnezzar had this dream, and they like, okay, tell us the dream, king, and we're going to tell you the interpretation. But go ahead and read.
The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me.
He said, the thing is gone from me. In other words, I don't understand what the dream was, or I don't remember the dream. Go ahead and read.
If ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof,
go ahead.
Ye shall be cut in pieces.
He said, look, if y'all don't tell me what my dream was, I'm going to cut y'all into pieces. Y'all laying back, everybody laying back, living good and everything, and then when I call on y'all, y'all can't help me. Go ahead and read. So if y'all don't tell me what my dream is, I'm going to cut y'all into pieces. Go ahead and read, verse 6.
And your houses should be made a dung.
And your houses should be made a dung. Everybody know what a dunghill is, don't they? Go ahead and read. An outhouse. Go ahead.
But if you show...
Oh, but you young people, though. I keep forgetting. Ask your elders what the outhouse is. Go ahead, verse 6.
But if you show the dream and interpretation thereof, you shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof.
Go ahead.
They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that you would gain the time, because ye see the things is gone from you.
He said, look, you know what? Y'all just stalling. So y'all trying to gain some more time because y'all stalling. Because y'all going to try to, because you going to make known the thing unto me, but you stalling though. Go ahead and read.
But if you will not make known unto me the dream.
See, he understood what they were doing. Y'all, that's a stall tag. He said, look, if y'all don't make known this dream unto me, go ahead and read.
There is but one decree for you.
He said, ain't number one thing for you. Go ahead and read.
For ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me. Till the time be changed.
Go ahead.
Therefore, tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can show me the interpretation thereof.
You say, that's all y'all been doing is lying before me with corrupt communication and everything. Look, tell me what this dream is and the interpretation thereof. Verse 10, go ahead.
The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, There is not a man upon the earth that can show.
Boy, they sure know how to grip, don't they? Ain't a man upon the earth that can tell you, king, because he know he can ready to do something to him. But so they like, look, man, can't nobody tell you about this dream, king. We can't tell you, neither can any man. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such things in any matter,
any magician,
or astrologer, or a Chaldean.
He said, there's not a king alive that even asks these type of questions, O king. King like, you gotta tell me what the deal is, or what my dream is, or I'm gonna cut y'all to pieces. Skip down to verse 26, though. Skip down to verse 26. Go ahead.
The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was
Belteshazzar. See, because you know they always change the name. You know, always when we got here as slaves, they started changing out. Remember, Toby was on had Toby up there. What's your name? Kunta. No, your name ain't Kunta no more. What's your name, boy? Kunta. Oh yeah, wow. Hit him with that whip. My name is Toby. Because a Gentile always want to take your name, change your name. In every land, not just a Gentile, every land in Israel went into, they want to change their name. Just like right here. He said, Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar. Go ahead and read.
Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen?
Because they went back, you know, Daniel had asked, what's going on, you know? Because the king, like, you know, I'm fixing to do you sorcerers and musicians and soothsayers, I'm fixing to do y'all in. Daniel like, wait a minute, what's the rush? What's going on? So Daniel, they found out that Daniel knew how to answer dreams. So now Daniel presented before him. He said, give me a minute, I found out what's going on. And so Daniel went before the king. He said, are you able to answer my dream, Daniel? Go ahead and read.
And the interpretation thereof. Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men.
Speak louder.
The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men. The astrologers, the magicians, the
soothsayers,
show unto the king.
Go ahead.
But there is a God in heaven.
But there is a God in heaven. See, he knew where his power came from, didn't he? He said, but there's, because most guys, they understand, try to interpret a dream, they be bragging on it. But Daniel was like, there's a God in heaven that's going to interpret your dream. Go ahead and read.
That revealeth secrets. And maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. What shall be in the latter days? What's that? The last days.
See, this is one thing that I noticed, that the Kemetic teachings and all these other religions, there's one thing that they can't bring, and that is prophecy. Israel got that hands down. They can, but now when we bring it to you though, Mr. Kemetic and all you other, we're going to bring you prophecy, and we're going to bring you some archaeology along with, you know, we're going to bring scriptures. So we're going to bring some archaeology, some scriptures, we're going to bring some prophecy. But I understand it's going to go over your head somewhat though, because you don't read the Bible. And them brothers that y'all dealing with, they not bringing y'all no prophecy. They not bringing no archaeology. So therefore, they can't deal with these brothers, because these brothers, Kemetic brothers, bringing them archaeology and all that stuff belonged to the Egyptians. And we know that the Egyptians, they dead. The ones that were ruling Egypt, them people are dead. They got somebody, and we're going to show you in the Bible how and why those people that's in Egypt right now that's ruling them Arab group, how they got there, and it was prophesied in the Bible. We're going to read it. But anyway, come on, man, let's go. Where we at?
Towards the end of 28.
Go ahead and read it.
Thy dream and the vision of thy head upon thy bed are these.
Go ahead. Now he's going to interpret the dream for him. So skip down to verse 31. Go ahead and read.
Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee. And the form thereof was terrible.
Go ahead.
This image's head was of fine gold, his beast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass.
Go ahead.
His legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay.
Go ahead.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces.
Go ahead. Verse 35. Go ahead.
Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain.
Hold it now. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain.
And filled the whole earth.
And filled the whole earth. This say it filled heaven, did it? This image that smote, this stone smote this image on the foot, and what? Filled the whole earth. Hold it right here, because we're coming right back. We're coming right back. Let's go to Matthew the 5th chapter and show you that that the kingdom is indeed going to be on the earth. Let's see what Meek is going to inherit. Matthew 5:1. Matthew, hold your hand right there in Daniel's 2nd chapter. We're coming right back. We're going to Matthew 5:1. Matthew 5:1. Let's see what the meek is going to inherit. Are they going to inherit heaven, or are they going to inherit the earth? He just told you that stone, what was the stone of Israel? That's the Lord, ain't it? He smote that image on the foot and filled the entire earth. Not heaven. Matthew 5:1. Matthew 5:1. Go ahead and read that.
And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him.
Read louder.
And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Go ahead.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Oh, you see that? Just like we read over in Daniel, when he said the meek now are going to inherit what? The earth, not heaven. And we're going to show you that the children of Israel, they're the ones going to inherit the promised land. But we're not leaving out nobody though, because the meek are going to inherit the earth. Let's go back to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, back to Daniel 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 36. Daniel 2 and 36, where we left off at. Daniel 2 and 36. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof to the king.
Go ahead.
Thou, O king, art a king of kings. For the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory. Now,
you can go and read this in history and see who was the first world ruler. And that was Babylon with Nebuchadnezzar. Now, why? It just really gets me how the brothers won't go and read this to the Kemetic people, and to the Islams, and to these Moors. You understand? And these Garveites. Why won't they read their prophecy? And he said, look, read that verse of verse 36 again. What did he say?
This is the dream. And we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
Go ahead.
Thou, O king, art a king of kings.
Go ahead.
For the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory.
And you could go right in, like I said, in history and read that Nebuchadnezzar was the first world ruler. Go ahead and read.
And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have he given into thine hand.
Go ahead.
And have made thee ruler over them all. thou art his head of gold.
Keep reading.
And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Which shall bear rule over all. If you go read history, you'll see after Babylon came who? The Medes and the Persians. And Daniel was calling it way before it happened. Years before it happened. Go ahead and read.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things.
Go ahead.
And as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces.
Now wait a minute, what's this fourth kingdom? This is the Romans. This is the Romans. And then you can go read, like I keep saying, you can go read this in history. But they say the Bible is plagiarized. It's plagiarized from the pyramid text and from the coffin text and from, you know, these pyramid hieroglyphics. Where is this at in your pyramid text? Where is this at? That Babylon was going to rule the world first. Then the Medes and the Persians. Then the Greeks and then the Romans. Where is this at? You cannot find it. You know why? Because their gods were not gods. There's only one true and living God. When I say one true and living God, I'm talking about the two. Not just one, but two of them. The Father and the Son.
Right.
Go ahead and read though. What verse you at?
Verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of tutors, clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with mirrored clay.
Go ahead.
And as the toes of the feet were a part of iron and part of clay,
go ahead.
So the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with mirrored clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another,
go ahead.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Verse 44, what does it say?
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
Stop right there. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. And look, these kings exist right now. We could go and show you these kings right today. We'll go ahead and read.
Which shall never be destroyed.
Now the God of heaven gonna set up a kingdom which shall never. How is it that we can look at these kings right now today, but this Bible is plagiarized from the pyramid text? We can look at these kingdoms. Is this in the pyramid text? You know, they gonna find a couple of verses, they want to call them, in the pyramid text, and then see a couple of verses in the Bible that's similar to that, and say, see there, y'all plagiarized. The Bible was plagiarized. Okay, well, where is this at in the Bible then? I mean, in the pyramid text. Where is this at? Man, don't get me started. Read that verse 44 again, because that lesson's supposed to be coming down the line. But don't get me started today, though. Go ahead and read verse 44. Go ahead.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed.
Go ahead.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
Talking about y'all waiting on that, y'all waiting on a man to come from the sky. No, we waiting on God to come from the sky. And his name is Jesus. Amen. That's who we waiting on. And once you see him, you're going to be one of the ones holler, for the rocks fall on us and hide us from the face of the Lamb, and he that sitteth upon the throne. You're going to be one of them. Mr. Islam and Kemetic and Marcus Garveyites. Y'all going to be part of it. Finish that.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all of these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
And this kingdom is going to stand forever. Let's go now. Let's go to Luke. We ain't got that long to go. Let's go to Luke, the 19th chapter. Luke 19. I'm about to get started up here today. Luke 19 and 12. Luke 19 and 12. I mean, got these brothers running around, and then they always playing on their field. You know, the Israelites always playing on the Egyptology or Kemetic. They want to play on their field. Always dragging them on their side and asking them a bunch of questions. No, mister, I'm going to ask you some questions. Because you ain't running nothing. God is. And it sure ain't no Amun Ra and no sun. The sun, he going to put the sun out. And the moon. Then what you going to be worshiping? Who you going to call on then? Let's go now. Let's go to Luke the 19th chapter. Israel always want to run down into Egypt, don't you? That's why the Lord said, look, you go down in Egypt, Israel, but you know what? I'm going to get you and I'm going to bust Egypt's head too. And that's what he did. Came in there and keep Luke 19 and 12. Luke 19 and 12. Go ahead and read it.
He said thereof. A certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return.
Now look, this nobleman, he went to receive a kingdom and he did what? Returned. See, that's what the Roman Christians don't get right there. He returned. Now he in heaven, he prepared a place where he gonna take you to heaven. Man, he said he gonna return, didn't he? Go ahead and read.
Verse 13. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds. And said unto them, occupy till I come. But his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over.
Ain't that what they saying now? Israel saying this now, ain't they? Ain't no such thing as no Jesus. And then the ones that say they believe in Jesus, they don't want the real Jesus to reign over them. They want that Sunday Jesus instead of Jesus of the Sabbath. This man, we ain't going to have him to reign over us. Go ahead and read. Take him to Sabbath Jesus, and they'll tell you, oh, we don't believe in that Jesus no more. We don't do that. We believe in the Sunday Jesus. But go ahead and read though.
Verse 15. And it came to pass that when he was returned.
We did what?
And it came to pass that when he was returned.
That when he was returned. Returned where? If he left here, then where did he return to then? Here, the earth. Go ahead and read.
Having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money.
Go ahead.
That he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds.
Now look, thy pound has gained 10 pounds. So he was busy, wasn't he? Go ahead and read.
And he said unto him, thy good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. He said, look, you've been faithful, and so now you got authority over 10 cities. And this is what we want to have. We want to have authority over 5 cities and 10 cities, right? Go ahead and read. And the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. Thy
pound have gained 5 pounds.
And he said likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities.
And he said likewise, be thou over 5 cities. Verse 20, go ahead.
And another came, saying, Lord, behold, there is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin.
Now we're going to stop right there. Because he said, because we don't even want, because the Lord told, look, that one that's got the 1 pound, take it from him and give it to the one that's got the 10 pound and cast him out of darkness. But my point is, he went, that nobleman went in far country, received himself a kingdom, had to return. Then he gave those ones those pounds, and one he gave 10 pounds, the other gave 5 pounds, the other one it is in the napkin. And we don't even want to know what's going to happen to him. But what is he telling you though? When you get this word, you're supposed to go and spread it to your brothers and your sisters and all the world. You understand? But now, let's go to John, the 13th chapter. John 13. Let's see where he went. John 13. John 13, and let's see what this nobleman went. John 13 and 33. John 13 and 33. Go ahead and read it.
Little children, let a little while I am with you. You shall seek me. And as I said unto the Jews, whither I go, ye cannot come.
Go ahead.
So now I say to you.
So they said, like I said unto the Jews, whether I go, you cannot come. Skip down to verse 36. Go ahead.
Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, whither goest thou? Jesus answered him, whither I go, thou canst not follow me now. But thou shalt follow me afterwards.
Go ahead.
Peter said unto him, Lord, why can I follow thee?
Now, he wanted to be a pain in the behind. So he said, Lord, why come I can't follow you now? Go ahead and read.
I will lay down my life for thy sake.
Now he said, I will lay down my life for you, Lord. What the Lord say?
Jesus answered him, Will thou lay down thy life for me?
He said, you will? Will you lay down your life for me? Really? Because the scripture said, look, the shepherd is going to be stricken and the flock is going to scatter. And that's what happened, right? The shepherd, which is the Lord, they called him and grabbed him, and what happened to the rest of them, the disciples? They scattered, didn't they? Peter was one of them. But then Peter started tipping around following them. Then when they caught up with Peter, said, look, man, you was one of them. Peter said, no, I wasn't. Say, yes, you was, man. You speak the Hebrew. We can even tell by the way you talking. You was one of them. Yeah, you was one of them. Peter's like, stop with the cursing. No, the blankety blank, I wasn't with him. And then the cock crew. Go ahead and read.
Verily, verily, I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice.
So he denied him 3 times. Now let's see where he went. Let's go to John, the 14th chapter and verse 1. John 14 and 1. Keep reading. Go ahead.
Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you.
Go ahead.
I go to prepare a place for you.
I go to prepare a place for you.
And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again.
Now everything that's clear right there. He said, if I go to prepare this place for you, I'm gonna come again. And where did he leave from? The earth. So where's he coming again to? The earth. That is so simple, ain't it? But people, they want to complicate it and make it like they so wise and everything. When Jesus, he being real simple right here, isn't he? He being real plain. He said, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again.
And receive you unto myself. That where I am, there ye may be also.
Now, if he said that where I am, there you may be also, where is he going to be then? On the earth. And where you going to be then? On the earth. Come on, man, let's reason together. Let's see where he's going to be on this earth. Let's go to Psalm 132. Psalm 132. Let's see where he's going to be on this earth. Because I know people been telling you that you're going to heaven, but I'm here to tell you that that is a lie. The closest you're going to get to heaven, if you are so blessed, you're going to be caught up to meet the Lord in the clouds in the air, and I ain't talking about no rapture. You're going to be caught up to meet the Lord in the clouds in the air, and that's the closest of heaven that you're going to get. I'm talking about the third heaven. Let's see, well, he said, I'm going to come again and receive you unto me, that where I am, there you may be also. Let's see where he's going to be. Psalm 132 and 11. Go ahead and read.
The Lord has sworn in truth unto David. He will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne.
Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne. Go ahead and read.
If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore.
There are set thrones of judgment, right? For the house of David. Now look at what he said. If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. So David still got some children here then, don't he? We just don't know who they are. Go ahead and read.
For the Lord has
But I can guarantee you that this though, it ain't the ones that's over there calling themselves Jews now. Ain't none of them fit this. And neither one of them the seed of David. I can tell you that much. Go ahead and read.
Verse 13.
Uh-huh.
For the Lord has chosen Zion.
Wait a minute, the Lord has chosen what?
Zion.
Well, where's Zion?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
He has desired it for his habitation.
What is a habitation? That's a place where you live, right? So he have desired Zion for his habitation. Go ahead and read.
This is my rest forever.
This is my rest forever? Didn't the Lord tell Abraham, look, I have given this land to your seed for an everlasting covenant? Now the Lord is telling you, this is my rest forever.
Here will I dwell. For I have desired it.
I will dwell here forever in Zion or Jerusalem. This is my rest forever. Here will I dwell. I have desired it. So when the Lord returns, where is he coming in? Where is Zion? We ain't talking about up in heaven. Right? Because we know you ain't going there, because he said, I saw the new city Jerusalem coming down from God out of heaven, didn't he? That's a different city from this one. But this is the king of Salem. This is his city all the time, though, wasn't it? And then Jesus, we know, is Melchizedek. And this is Melchizedek city, which is Salem, which is Zion, which is Jerusalem. And where is Jesus, which was Melchizedek? And then he goes back to his place. And who is he now? Melchizedek, the priesthood after of Melchizedek. And when he comes back to the earth, where is he coming back to? His city, Zion, which was his all the time. He loaned it out to the Canaanites at one time. He loaned it out to the Israelites at one time. Now he loaned it out to the Ishmaelites and the Edomites. But he coming back to his city, and he bringing his children back to his city. This is the promised land. Let's go to Daniel the 7th chapter. We got 3 more after this. Daniel the 7th chapter. They over there fighting over that land, been fighting over that land for 1,000 years, and they don't understand. Neither one of y'all getting it. Neither one of y'all gonna get it. They've been bombing each other for centuries, haven't they? The world knows the people over there as the Jews. But the whole world is going to be in shock when the Lord starts marching in front of these black people that's going to be going back into the land of Israel. The whole world going to be shocked. Do you mean these black people, blanketed blanks, that we've been talking about all these years? These are the Israelites? The Kemetic blacks now, they talking about they Kemetic in Egypt. They going to be talking about we Israelites? Yeah. The Islamic blacks that's calling themselves Muslims and everything, they going to be walking talking about we Israelites? Yep. It is written all right here in the Bible. The only thing I do is sit down, shut your mouth, and listen. Because everybody is an orator. Everybody can talk. Everybody is wise. But then watch how I drop this science and this archaeology and this Bible